Hey, this is Dan. We're back again for another Mastering Collectify. And this week we're going to talk about open editions. Open editions is another variety of minting that you can do on Collectify. And today we're going to just go through the process of setting that up and also explaining a few other details around the process. Okay, so what is an open edition? If you need to ask that, then definitely do a bit of a deep dive on it. OpenSea actually have a pretty great article about it, and it's fairly recent, just back in June. The short answer is an open edition is something which is an ERC-721 typically, and it is an NFT where it's not limited by quantity, it's limited by time. You can set parameters to limit the quantity, but it's not a one of one. It's typically multiple copies of the same thing. Why would you want to do this? Artists have been doing this a lot this year for creating kind of like a lower entry point NFTs to their collection. Quite notably, people like Xcopy have done this. It's a good way for fans of artists to support the artist, to maybe enter a community without requiring the kind of the financial commitment of 1, 2, 3 ETH. So that's the quick overview, right? If you want to find out more, definitely go and check that out. Okay, getting on to actually making them. So as with everything else, we actually need to do metadata first, okay? So I did set something up a couple weeks ago to get ahead on this, calling it the Castle Pass. So one of the potential use cases for an open edition is it can be used as a way of creating NFT tickets for an event or something. So we can edit the name after creating the metadata and a little unreveal image. Now, I actually want to take this opportunity to go into the whole topic of metadata a little bit more and talk about hosting. So if we go into the metadata for this, you can see I've given it this name, the Castle Pass, and a description. Let's just call it Castle Day 2023. It's an event, right? Now, we often think of NFTs as images, right? But an NFT is actually essentially a line of code which points somewhere and says, you own the line of code that points to the thing. That's what the token is, essentially. The image it points to does actually need to be hosted somewhere online. We covered this slightly in the first ever 721 video, but I want to just talk here about where you might be able to host things. Now, you can link to anywhere that you've hosted something online. So if you're an artist, maybe you have an online portfolio and you want the reference image to be there, and perhaps you can add additional URLs, for example, an additional URL here, which might point to a place where the owner can download a high resolution original, for example. But for this case, what I want to do is show you how I've done it, especially when bulk creating metadata, okay? Now, everyone will have an opinion about the best place to do this. For me, I just found it very easy, and the internet was full of resources, including GPT with a step-by-step guide to using Amazon cloud services. So the simple thing is you go to Amazon S3, make a bucket. This all requires making an account, and I do recommend you go find some YouTube videos to dig a bit deeper if you want to explore this. What I've been doing here is with this public access bucket, which is named for my project, this is just for me for organizing, I have actually hosted all of the images for the map land collection. Now, there's a reason that this is better than doing it on Google Drive, and the reason is that it will give you logical names for the URL. And what that means is you name the file, for example, artboard 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10,000, okay? If you drop that into Google Drive, it will make a completely randomized scrambled link. And that actually makes sorting out the metadata incredibly complicated. And I'm going to just show you why. So here's the metadata for my lands, the image column. Now, what you can do is you can very easily create spreadsheet code to increase this number logically. So it's very simple to do that. And then all you have to do is drag and drop in the old-fashioned way. It saves a lot of time, trust me. So that's the reason that you might want to do that. And also, once you do this, you're keeping all your files in the same place, which is typically quite good practice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload the image that I've generated. This is the pass that I'm going to create. I'm going to just drop it in. I'm going to upload it. And going back to my bucket, Castle 2, this is what I want to use. Okay, here's the image URL. It's now there being hosted by Amazon. And I'm not paying for this, by the way. This is a free account. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I've got this image link and I'm going to go back to my metadata and put it in manually. If you're editing this manually, you need to be really careful. It's very easy to get errors. If you do, this little notice will come up here, but it can be a bit irritating to tweak things here. So when possible, it is recommended that you do it in the spreadsheet format. Or if you're a bit more experienced with coding, using an app like VSC Code or something, right? So hopefully that all checks out and I've updated my metadata. All right, brilliant. I'm going to leave these things for now. All right, this is my metadata. I'm going to copy the metadata URL and we're going to go to Open Edition. Okay, so Castle Pass Edition and the metadata URL goes in. There's an unlimited supply. This is how we do our Open Edition contract here. Each person can get one per wallet. There are 0 royalties. The mint price, see, this is where again I can put it onto my own token. So for example, the in-world token EOR, which I'm going to just pull up the contract address for now. There's the contract address for my own currency. And we're going to do public mint starting from, let's just do it from tomorrow. And let's say that this is a limited window, get a hurry on. You need to do this in a 1-week period. And it's as simple as that. Collection introduction. Meetup. You know, all of this stuff. We've done this a lot of times now. All right. Now, at the moment, there's a pretty big gas fee on that. So I'm going to just work out how I can get around that. Bear with me. I just hopped over and recreated this on the girly testnet. It should just speed things up a little bit for the sake of this demo. So this is basically the same as what we've seen before. We're on Open Edition. We have got all of these little details here. This is something I didn't talk about previously. One of the things you can do is you can actually block your NFTs from being traded on specific platforms. So for example, if you wanted to create your own marketplace and you wanted to just make sure that everyone is trading your NFTs on your own marketplace, this is a way to do it. Essentially, you can block these prominent additional sites, especially the ones that block royalties, if that's something that's really important to you. Especially with open editions, this can be valuable for artists, okay? Now, we've seen all this other stuff before. I'm just gonna update the theme real quick to what we've been using for the rest of the project, and we're gonna go through and have a look. And yeah, here we go. All ready to go. I'm gonna just quickly mint one. Okay, it's successfully minted, and now we're gonna just quickly go and have a look. Quickest way to view it is just to go to OpenSea. And here it is in my wallet. Now, if you remember, this was the image that I put into AWS. There it is, this is my NFT. So that's going to be it for today. We'll catch you next week. We're going to talk about soulbound tokens, which they're a pretty interesting token category, and I don't think enough people are using them. So I will catch you in the next one. Bye.